Friends, welcome to version 16 of our Pastoring the Pandemic, my reflections. And I want to warn you now, this comes with a bit of a health warning. This is a rant. It's supposed to be a rant. I'm setting out for it to be a rant, and I can guarantee that some of you won't like it. Honesty, we have said, is to be the hallmark of these pieces, and so I can almost guarantee that not everyone will agree with what you are about to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway. In fact, I can guarantee that many of you will disagree with most of what you hear, but I'm still going to say it, because sometimes one person's honesty can hold a light to experience and feelings that others share but find it difficult to name. So in for a penny, in for a pound, here goes. Those of you who know me well know that I can get frustrated. Those of you that know me well know that I have strong opinions on those things on which I have any opinion at all, and that many things, I can sit quite lightly to. On most occasions I can find the funny side to lighten my mood. However, most of you who know me well will know that by nature I am not an angry man. And so it comes as something of a surprise to me to realise that I have now been angry for weeks and weeks and weeks. It started, I think, when it became abundantly clear that the official narrative from Downing Street concerning PPE bore absolutely no resemblance whatsoever to the first-hand experience of my family and other families on the ground. It wasn't helped when my mother was admitted to hospital with a non-virus related condition. She was tested when she was admitted and declared COVID-free. She was treated for her condition and then was tested again, only to discover that she, like so many others, had contracted COVID-19 whilst in hospital. Then there was that ring of steel around the care home rubbish, when anyone with even the slightest inkling of common sense could see that it was nothing of the sort. Then next along the road came Mr. Cummings. His road went to Durham, of course, and that got me really angry. Not that he did it, but rather the long line of people usually wearing suits who came out one after another to say that there was nothing wrong with the fact that he did it. My dad died alone because as a family we kept the rules, and no one is ever going to convince me that Cummings was keeping the rules as well. It was just another attempt to rewrite history, and to be honest, we're getting used to that on both sides of the Atlantic at the moment. A simple yes, we realise it was probably wrong and it was certainly stupid. We are sorry, good word that, sorry, but Mr. Cummings is really important to us in this crisis, so we're going to keep him in post, and the national feeling might well have changed. But arrogant refusal not only to tell the truth, but also to manipulate the truth is always likely to antagonise. And it did so in my shed. So overnight, in effect, the discipline of lockdown was ended, which just happened to coincide with open beaches and the first glorious bank holiday weekend any of us can remember, and the phrase "I just followed my instincts" as a get out of jail card for anyone who fancied a trip to the southwest from up country. I was still angry. Meanwhile, and I don't mean this to sound in any way dismissive, meanwhile the events on the other side of the Atlantic went from surreal and dangerous, that's the POTUS 45, to murderous, as it took Chauvin 8 minutes 46 seconds to crush the life out of George Floyd, and as others in authority just stood and watched. And now other people are getting angry too. First the community of Minneapolis, then the cities and the peoples around the United States, and often that anger was controlled and respectful and manifested itself in peaceful and peace-filled demonstrations, and sometimes the anger burst out in violence. And the violence made me angry because it made it too easy for people to dismiss the protests. Even if, as seems quite possible, at least some of that violence was somehow orchestrated by those who had another agenda. As the troops cleared the streets, encouraged again by POTUS 45 from his bunker, I could not help but remember those scenes from the United States a few weeks back when heavily armed white men stormed government buildings, not streets, buildings, to protest against the lockdown, and were allowed to remain unchallenged by authorities as they pointed their guns at elected officials. How different it is depending upon the colour of your skin. And just when you think it is impossible for anything even remotely more surreal to emanate from the White House, POTUS 45 emerges from the bunker, instructs that a peaceful demonstration on a church forecourt is dispersed by tear gas so that he can borrow a Bible from someone to stand outside a church he never attended to wave a Bible in the air as a photo opportunity. What on earth he was doing, I do not know. Something to do with an election, I assume. But incidentally, the fact that he did it does put him in line with two others I found who did similar things as the tide was turning against them. Their names are quite well known. Google it. Saddam Hussein and Hitler did the same. And now I am really angry. Because now we have incompetence, lies, law-breaking, probable blasphemy and murder to lay alongside personal, national and international grief, all vying for attention.